Excellent, wonderful. Well, first of all, John, thank you very much. It was a beautiful talk that you had there, and thank you to Jeff and Marianne for giving me an opportunity to be here and to really to communicate a message that I hope to get a lot back in return from you in terms of telling you my story. So, really, in a nutshell, what I'm going to be talking about is really what Jeff had mentioned, taking my family from the wonderful life in Southern California, from both my wife Mary and I working in, both had good jobs, and basically getting to the point where once we had a family, we talked about moving to the Midwest and the challenges that presented themselves through not only the move and the challenges in terms of moving from, again, from a climate of Southern California to the Midwest climate, but the challenges that Mary, my wife, and I had in the struggles of why we ended up coming, to this area as well. So, I grew up in Park Ridge. I went to Mary Seat of Wisdom. So I left when my family moved to California in 1980. So lived in Southern California for a period of 30 plus years. Ended up meeting, again, reintroducing myself to Mary. We knew each other's families growing up, and ended up getting married. And basically our goal and with our beliefs, we said that once we have children, we are going to come back to the Midwest and raise our family in the Midwest. Wanted to basically get our roots, put our roots in the ground and make this our home. So, after, 8 years of marriage and, 6 unsuccessful pregnancies and trying to have a family, finally went up to, Mary after, the struggles that we had, and I said, let's try again. We didn't make it this far, we want to have more, we want to have a family, we want to have children, so trying to, basically have a big smile on my face telling Mary, it's like, let's try, I want to have a family, I know you want to have a family, so, let's give it a go again. And we did. Again, after miscarriage and miscarriage and miscarriage and ectopic pregnancy and ectopic pregnancy and the loss of life, but the love that we had and the faith that we had and the faith that I knew that we could get to that point eventually. So that is a whole other speech. I don't want to get too in detail about this, but again, after my wife she got pregnant again. Mary was in the hospital for 5 weeks before Joe was born. Joe was born in November of 2010, 7 weeks premature at 3 pounds 16 inches long. So you look at 3 pounds 16 inches, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. I mean, just what a blessing that, again, you just take the messages that the Lord gives you and you run with it. So 8 months later, after Joe was born, I quit my job. I was in the beer business for 12 years. Mary was a teacher for quite a long time, and again, we wanted to move to the Midwest so she could raise our family. It was a big deal to us that we wanted to get away, raise our family in the Midwest, and I had to get out there and get a job. I had to get out to the Midwest without having the networking and the connections in the beer industry, the alcohol industry that I was successful in Southern California, and move across country. So we did that in July of 2011. I did not have a job when we moved across country, so again, with family and the family support, we were able to really just in the blessings of the Lord, just to be able to be here while I was looking for work. And my job was to find a job. I mean, that was my full-time job. On the computer every day, on the phone, going to job fairs, basically all day long, looking for work. But again, the blessings that I realize now and the blessings that I understood during that time, and the blessings that the Lord bestowed upon not only Mary and myself and Joe, was that I was able to spend that time with Joe and with Mary for such a long time, to get to know my family again here, to get to know the community, to have the time, again, to be here to bury my grandfather, to bury my father-in-law. These things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do if I was still in the environment that I was in Southern California. So the blessings of being able to be here to do all these things, again, the Lord is good, and the Lord has created some great opportunities for me. So moved here in July, finally got a good job in June of last year. I'm sorry, where are we at? June of this year. June of this year. So it was, almost a full year before I got a good job. Been working waiting tables at Cafe Touche around the corner. If you haven't been, go. The food is fantastic. Joseph Calabrese and his wife Mary Kay, fantastic business owners. I still work there 2 nights a week because it's great food, great environment, and I have a lot of fun there. But I also look at, again, everything that I've done in terms of preparing myself. It's because I've given it up to the Lord. I've given up everything. I said, I am not in control. So let me read what I wrote down, actually. I said, I never gave up. I have zero control over what's happening in my life. And it's okay. But the Lord is in control of who I am and where I'm going. And to be able to finally accept that and get to that point, I can't be disappointed that I didn't get a job month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. Even though I was out there diligently trying to find work, getting the interviews, and I must apply at hundreds and hundreds of places. I probably had 10 to 15, live interviews where it's up to you and the other guy. And you know what though? It was either the other guy or me, but the offers that I was getting was not the income that I could substantiate to raise my family, to keep my wife at home. So it's at the point right now where I can do that. I'm still working at the restaurant 2 days a week. I look at, because of my wife, who is my biggest rock in the universe. She's the most amazing woman. I look at the organizations like the Knights of Columbus that I'm in, and the strength of the brotherhood of the Knights, my family, my friends, the community. It's little things like the Adoration Chapel here. When there was times where I just knew that, it was frustrating. There are days, go to the Adoration Chapel, spend a half an hour in the Adoration Chapel, pray to the Blessed Mother. It's amazing the strength that you can get walking out of that building. Talk to the Blessed Mary. Thank the Lord for the gifts that you have, for your health, for your family, for your friends. For your jobs, for your careers, for everything. He is absolutely in control of our lives, to the point where, again, I moved my family halfway across country. I'm employed right now. I'm now this is what my official title now, Director of Sales and Marketing at a company right now. I didn't give up, though. And I think the reason why I didn't give up in my search, because my ultimate goal was to keep my wife at home. I wanted her to be home so I can have her raise a family. Again, the sacrifices we had to make to get to that point, we made those sacrifices. We minimized our lives. We minimized our expenses. We minimized the things that we had to do. But again, the blessings, and to see my wife and my son, and how wonderfully religious and caring my youngest son is, and how happy my wife is that she could be a mother at home, I wouldn't give up any of these struggles that I had, because this is just the greatest joy, because, again, the Lord is in control of my life, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I would not take that away, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. So that is my story. I'm employed, I love it, and I'm here, and God is good. Any questions? Yes?
Well, I commend you, Matt, because I think you're unusual in this day and age as a young person raising a family. I think that's wonderful. So good for you and Mary.
Thank you. And again, it's Mary. She's my rock and if I didn't have the support from her, to have the patience to be where I am today in terms of my career choices and moves. I would have been at a career position, probably traveling 4 days a week, not being home, because that's the level that I was, and that's a position I would have taken, but it would have taken me away from where I am today. So again, I look at, there's reasons why I didn't get those jobs. There's reasons why I didn't accept those positions. And, I have to realize that again, I'm not in control of the situation here. I want to think I am as a man. You want to be in control of everything, but you got to let it go. And I think that, again, that's helped me grow, spiritually. And I love it.
Can you give me, I'm a very impatient person.
Yes.
And so, I'd be champing at the bit. I know I have been champing at the bit at times. And like you, there's certain things that I can do. But I wonder if you could share with us things you do, too, when you're like, your ego is saying, oh, you got to get going here, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's difficult. And through this whole process, and I look at a lot of the things that I've done in terms of, I have to work. I'm a worker. I need, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be working. I like to work. But I look at the things that I've done in terms of helping me grow spiritually as well. I look at, for perfect example, I took a part-time job working for a company that sold timeshares. And we all know that you spin that little wheel, blah, blah, blah. But I made some money. But I also looked at it, being a sales guy, that helped me in terms of the close. Because you got to close the sale. You got to close the deal. So that was an education experience for me. And again, it helped me in my whole process. Like, okay, it gave me confidence again. So, to keep going and keep pursuing. My goal is to finally get a job. But again, even in a period of the embarrassment, being at a mall, having somebody spin the wheel, again, it was a learning experience for me. And I had to take it as a learning experience regardless. I made a little bit of money, and again, everything in my life has been a great experience for me. But it's impatience. It's a learning experience.
So would you say that God also put in your path things that would be, let you know inside yourself that He was there? It wasn't always.
Always. I mean, it's just to the point where, you're upset. You leave the house 2 minutes later, and then all of a sudden you drive by an ambulance on the road. And you're like, what if I left on time? That could have been me. So you pray for those people that are in the ambulance and say, thank God it wasn't me.
So your faith has been reinforced from this journey.
Oh, most definitely. It's stronger and stronger. And again, I think it's because I look at, the things that have happened with childbirth. I would love to have 7 children right now. I have 1. I have 2. I have an older son. I started with my second marriage, and I have a 20-year-old son and a 2-year-old son. So I've got 18 years between my boys, and I love them. I mean, they're just amazing kids. But again, it's a life journey and it's a faith journey. And without the presence of Christ in my life, I don't know who I'd be. Again, I like who I am now. Beautiful. Anybody else? Excellent. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Merry Christmas.